Hi everybody, and welcome to the class called Journey. I believe that's what it said on the website, and on your kit it will say Journey Adventure in the top right hand corner, bottom right hand corner. And the first page is all about life's journey. So several different names for this, but I believe on the website it said Journey. So for those of you who this is your first class, welcome. And we're going to get started right away here, putting together the first 2 pages. As I always mention, we usually put 6 pages, 4 to 6 pages, and this one has 6. We only do the first 2 in class because that's where all the harder things are, the bells and whistles, and it takes a little bit longer. So we will get started with page 1 here. And the Powder Puff suggestions for the inks are Deep Sea and Blueberry Bliss, Butter Pecan, and Rocky Road. If you don't have Rocky Road, Mocha, Mama, or Amaretto will work. And also, if you have the new box of inks, it would be kind of fun to try the pumpkin pie or the chunky monkey or the tiramisu. All those are really good colors for this particular kit. So keep in mind that you can chalk things as you go along. If you've never chalked before, super simple. I'm going to just test it out a little bit here, and I think I'll try the pumpkin pie just so you can see that that is kind of a fun color that would work really well with this. Look at those colors. See, that matches pretty darn close to this yellowish gold color that we have in here. Also, the chunky monkey would work really well because, see, it's also a color that would work in that. Let me try this piece of paper. It's a brighter yellow, but also a good one. And tiramisu, good color. I like this one. I hadn't used it much until now, but it's really a pretty one. Put a bunch on here so you can see what it looks like. Okay. And the one that is my favorite is called Butter Pecan, and it looks like this. It's a little more subtle, but it also works really well with this yellow. So couple of the blues. The Deep Sea is a very deep, dark blue. Looks like this. And that's a perfect color to match the outside edges of some of these pieces. One of my new favorite colors is called Blueberry Bliss, and it looks like this. It's a soft country blue, but it's a nice, deep, rich color. So any of those or all of them will work really well for this project. So keep in mind that you can chalk as you go along, and chalking takes a little longer, so you may want to stop the video a few times in order to be able to get things chalked up, or you can go clear through it and then come back and get the portions that you didn't get earlier. So to start with, you need a piece of paper that looks like this, 12 by 12. It's like 10 checks on one side and has a big compass in the one corner of the other side. So this will be our very background paper. Now we have 3 pieces of paper that we're going to use to build the background. The second piece is a frame, and you punched that frame out. If you've already punched pieces out, you have punched it out from inside of one of these big blue frames, okay? So hang on to your big blue frames. Don't throw those away. Those are needed on pages 3 and 4. So we'll only do pages 1 and 2, and then 3, 4, 5, and 6 are just a gift for you to take home and gives you extra value in your kit. So here's your blue. Let's go ahead and glue that down. And I'm not going to chalk too many pieces up here. I will All right, hang on, my gun's not working. Get this stuff off of there. These are great when they work. When they don't, then they're annoying. So I'm just going to tack my pieces down since this is a sample, and I probably won't chalk up anything. That's your choice to use the colors that you want. So anything that you want chalked, go ahead and do that. So this piece, this frame, you're going to just center it top and bottom, left and right. And then this piece right here is a 10 by 10, and I believe it's already pre-cut. 10 by 10 piece with the compass. Other side is the tan check. This compass right here is the absolute perfect color of our new Blueberry Bliss that comes in our ice cream color. So just to show you what it looks like, this is a really nice color to go with the Blueberry Bliss. And my chalking is kind of messy. I'm going in a little bit of a hurry here so that you can just see what it looks like. So chalk up any edges that you want, but see, Blueberry Bliss is absolutely perfect for this. And something I like to do is when I have an edge like this, I usually pull it to, I don't know if you can see it or not, pull it to the edge of my workspace and just run my chalk ink along the edge several times to get a nice smooth look, and it goes on really quick. I put the compass up in the top corner just because if you look at your picture on your instructions, you can see that it kind of peeks through all the words and things that are up in the top corner. If we put it in the bottom corner, then it's pretty much covered up, and I kind of like for that to show. So this is background, blue frame, and a 10 by 10 compass piece. Chalk up the edges if you want to. And then you're going to center this on your blue frame. So it doesn't go behind the blue frame, it goes on front of the blue frame, just so you can have just a little bit of definition from the tan to the white background in the 10 by 10. Okay, now we have lots and lots of little pieces, and so we're going to go through those all together just because it's a little tricky trying to figure that out on your own. And the very first pieces that you're looking for, and I'm going to turn them all over this way to start with. There are 4 yellow banner pieces. I'm going to show you what this first page looks like right quick before we get started. So what we're working towards, we've already added the blue frame and the little 10 by 10 background, but we have lots of little banner pieces and places for photos on this one. The photos are smaller on this one, but it's okay because when we get to page 2, there's tons of space and extra space for lots of little photos. So just keep in mind that we're going to work through the pieces right here so we can all make sure that to get the right pieces. It's just easier if I walk you through it than to have you try to figure it out on your own. So first of all, search for 4 banner pieces. They're yellow on one side and there's stripes on the other side. Okay, they have, each one of them have 2 holes in the top. And again, that is this tag and the tag on the front. That is this tag and the stripe tag on the front. Okay, so once you locate that, we're going to turn the bigger pieces over to the yellow side. And if you want to chalk these up before we glue them together, that would be okay, because you may want to do those 2 different colors. Sometimes I layer them and glue them together, then chalk all the edges at the same time. But I think I would choose probably tiramisu for the edges of the yellow. Okay. And when you get to this little V shape, it has little tails that helps you get it in there, but I like to just kind of bend it, just gently bend it, and then it lets you add some color to that without too much effort, okay? And just keep blending until you get the color that you want. So I would add try a little bit of the butter pecan or the tiramisu. And then on the blue piece, again, you can go back to either the deep sea or the blueberry bliss. And just add as much or as little as you choose to. Totally up to you. So once you get them chalked up a little bit like you want, you're going to turn the bigger ones on so the yellow side faces up, and the blue ones, or the smaller ones, so the striped side faces up. And you will adhere these together, matching those little holes up, because those little holes are where your rope is going to go for your banner. And then go ahead and glue the second one together. And this eliminates 4 pieces right off the bat, so it gets less confusing as time goes on. So these are good to go. Those are good to go. Next you have a green die cut. Has green checks on one side and white with board print on the other side. It's rounded corners at the bottom, 2 holes at the top. And then another piece that goes right on top of this is a little white, has white boards, rounded corners on the bottom, and square corners at the top. Green check on the back. Chalk those up a little bit, and then this will be glued, and I'm going to chalk the edges just funky color just so you can see where this goes on here easier. And another good color for this would be, we have in that new kit is a mint chip. That would be really pretty on with these colors. So once you get that chalked up a little bit, whatever color you choose, this piece glues right onto the green, okay? And then you have one more set that you're going to layer up. This bigger one is blue with a blue pattern on one side, and then also has some compasses on the other side, and then some little board print. So blue, and then this is also blue on one side. So actually 2 pieces. You're going to use the blue side on the big one, the compass side on the other one, and those glue together. Matching holes. They both have holes at the top, so match the holes up. Okay. And then those 2 are done. Now we have some tiny little, show you what we're looking for. You have a little tiny banner here, little tiny banner here, a tiny banner here, and a tiny banner here. All 4 of those banners have 2 pieces to them. They are layered onto a second piece to give it some stability, but also it's kind of fun to have that pretty little border around each one of them. So I'm going to show you which ones these are. So you have 2 pieces that have holes at the top, and they're the bigger one and the smaller one are both blue on one side, and they're both have the compass pattern on the other side. So turn the bigger one over to the blue side, smaller one over to the compass side, and you'll glue those together. Both of those have a hole in the top. If it does not have a hole on the top, you have the wrong one, okay? Both of them have a hole on the top. So that finishes that. Another set, blue on one side, holes at the top, and you will glue on just the opposite of this one. This one has blue in the back, white in the front. This one has the white banner in the back and the blue in the front. So again, match up your holes, and those 2 banner pieces, I'll show you one more time where those belong, and because they have a hole, they're the ones that go here, and one will have milestones on it, The other one goes here, and it will have an arrow on it. So I'm going to just go ahead and layer. I'm going to go ahead and glue this one on so that you can see where that goes, and then we'll put the work with the word milestones. Go ahead and glue both of those together. So one has a blue front, one has a white front, and the blue one has, I need a white piece of paper here. The blue one is where we add the word milestones. And we left the word milestones in white and glued it on, but say you wanted to change the color of that, I would choose something fairly light because you want it to show up on your blue, or nothing at all. So if you want to just add just a little bit of, normally I would use a glue pen, but again, this is just a sample to show you how it goes together. So milestones goes here, okay? That makes that one done. And then on this one, and again, keep in mind that these are both have holes at the top. Both are 2 layers. And this one holds a little arrow. Okay? So these two are just more parts to the piece that goes on the rope. So you have these pieces end up looking like this. And your milestones will be over here. All holes at the top. And your little arrow piece goes over here. So that's how they'll end up on your page once we get everything all assembled here. So with that said, you have more banner pieces left here that are blue on one side, white on the other, white with the compass pattern. And again, we're going to do one with the blue background, and these have no holes at the top. That way, that's the way you know that they're the proper ones, and I'll show you where those are going to go. Underneath the word adventure, that's a double layer. The white's in the background, the blue in the front. Underneath the word memories, there's blue in the background and white in the front. So what that means is you're going to, you can chalk up the word adventure if you choose. You want to do it in something light so that it will show up, and we did ours in white. But you could also use something like maybe Bermuda if you wanted to do it lighter, or even, let's try this chunky monkey. That's kind of fun. That yellow, that would show up really well. So adventure goes on to blue, and that chunky monkey looks really fun on there, so it's not a bad choice. But make sure it's something light because you want it to show up on your blue. Oh, I put M Adventures. It's not M Adventures. I need an A. I can't spell. Set that aside, and then go ahead and add the white banner with no hole at the top to the blue banner with no hole at the top. Actually, I did this one backwards. This goes on this way. You know, and it doesn't really matter, but I kind of like the tails going towards the right. So anyway, you can put it on either way that you want. And this one has the word memories. And we actually added some color to the word memories, and we added some dark color. So I would say deep sea would be a good one for this. So see how quickly that just colors right up, and that deep dark. Just a few sponges with your deep sea color, and that goes on here. Okay, so we're going to set these aside for the moment and go back to our main page. And this is how these are going to arrange on your page. And you have a couple of more things that need to go on here, and that is this little frame right here has a little heart punched out of it. We're going to use that little heart also, but the blue frames that you're seeing, and now this is always a question I get, blue frames that you see right here, blue frame right here, that is this. It originally started out as white, okay? So you have two of those. One has a little heart pattern in the inside, and the other one has all these little circles, all these little grommets that will be onto the hole, around the holes of your tags, so that it's nice and sturdy so you can run that rope through. And again, I'm going to chalk these up using some deep sea. You can do just a light coat if you want to, or you can do it as dark as you want. 5 or 6 presses and you have a fairly dark color. And another color that would be pretty is maybe that mint julep, and maybe Bermuda, maybe even the blueberry bliss. Okay, then we're going to add this here. And this one here. And then you have a paper clip, you have a tiny little white heart, and you have another tiny little heart that came from in the center of this. Teeny tiny little embellishments. We also have a little sheet of little white circles that are going to go onto each. And I'm not going to do all of these. I'll do one to show you how that works. Okay. It just goes right around the holes on each of the holes on the banner pieces. So you have lots of little holes here. Okay. And that's just so it's sturdier when you thread that rope through, and it also looks really cute. So your piece with the I'm going to darken up my heart here, and that will go on here. And then you have a little piece of linen ribbon. It's gorgeous linen ribbon. And keep in mind that the double loop of this paper clip is where your heart needs to end up, so that you can slide it down over the top of one of your banner pieces here. And then your ribbon will tie up in just a little knot right up at the top of the single loop and just do a single knot. And then clip your little ends. And this will slide down over the top of your little green checked piece, like that, as an embellishment. And if you want to use this teeny tiny little heart, you can see that it goes down here at the bottom left of that particular one. So now these little blue frames, you can tuck in a picture behind. You can add a picture here, you can add a picture here. Just keep in mind that on the next page when I show you, there's going to be lots of space for lots more pictures. So how this will work is you're going to use like an 1/8 inch paper punch and punch yourself a hole 5 inches down on the left side, in about 1/4 to 1/2 inch, and about 5 inches down on the right side, in about 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Then you take your nautical string, and you will come up through the back. I didn't punch a hole. You will come up through the back, and it will go through. And this stuff ravels fairly easy, so you might want to put a little bit of sticky tape or something to keep it from raveling too far. But it will go starting at the back of your first banner piece over here. Then you go through the next banner piece over here, and you just continue on until you have all the banner pieces hooked together. So this next little one goes through the front. Okay, that goes through the front. And it's kind of hard to keep it in place until you get everything all gathered on there. And then you just keep going through until you end up over here, and that goes through to the back on that side, and adhere them with either a glue dot or something pretty strong. So, and then you can go back and arrange all your pieces. And I'm going to move this and get the finished one out so you can see how it actually looks. So here's your hole. You add 2 little white rings to those holes so that you have some stability, and you can either tape down or use a glue dot to hold down the pieces on the back, and then just keep scooting things out and arranging until you get everything exactly like you want. So here you have everything into the little banner piece. At the top, we're going to make this right now and the life's journey, and we'll be done with page 1. So you have a piece in your kit that looks like this, and I would say the either amaretto or one of the browns. Add some color to the outside of this. It goes on here. Add some adhesive here. And then your memories goes here. Your adventures goes here. Make those tails go whichever way you want. And then if you, we have the word journey, and we have the word lives, and we chalk those up either with this deep sea or the blueberry bliss. Either one of those would work really well. Let's try blueberry bliss and just to see what it looks like. And what did I do with it? It's right here. So either press some color in, or you can pick it up and just do a little bit if you want to. Just do some edges. See how pretty that looks? Even just doing edges. And that's up to you. You can do that either way that you want. Do just edges, or just go ahead and lay it out and press some color into the whole entire thing. And then that goes here, and Life's goes here, and you are done. One more thing, one more little thing, and that's just a tiny thing, but you have little square that goes onto the white piece, and it's just a little checked square with rounded corners. Chalk up those edges a little bit. That goes right in the center here of this one. And you're done. Okay? And that's everything for page 1. And that takes a little time to do because there's lots of little pieces, lots of detail, so you'll probably have to stop the video a few times before you get to the end of this one. So let's move on to page 2. And page 2 is going to look like this. What we're going to build is 3 flaps that will end up on the outside of your page protector. So here you see this opens up. You will slide this down into your page protector, and this will flop down over the front. And what this amounts to is 1 flap, 2 flaps, 3 flaps. Okay? Lots of space for pictures. Remember, I told you on page 2 there would be lots of space for pictures. All that goes on the outside, along with this cute little book that we're going to build here in just a second. Has a ribbon to hold it shut. It opens here, 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 and here. And right here you have a little pocket. Here you have place for pictures, more places for pictures. And so we're going to get busy on this right now. So you will need another 12 by 12 piece that has the squares, the tan checks, and you need, let's do this piece first. This is a 5 by 10 piece that goes down near the bottom. I'm just going to lay that there for the moment, and let's get our pieces out. So you need this 5 by 10 piece. It stripes on one side, yellow on the other side. So locate that 5 by 10 and a half. You need this piece that's blue pattern on one side. It's 7.5 by 10.5 and has lots of little compasses on the other side. We need that piece. We also need a piece that has checks on one side, square corners on one side, and rounded corners on the other side. And it looks like it has a big compass on the side that we're going to actually use. We need this piece. It's 4 1/4 by 7, and again it has rounded corners down here, square corners at the top, and about 1 inch down from the top, we'll call the top with the square corners, you have a score line. And you just have to, if you can't find it, you just have to kind of pretend that it's there, and it's actually on the side with the yellow compass. So either way it should fold okay, but this is the way we want it to look. So it's the yellow compass on one side and tan check on the other side. And the other piece that we need looks like this. It's kind of a funky piece that has lots of little cutouts, blue on one side and lots of compasses on the other side. So I think first of all, we will, let me move out some of this stuff here, and you are going to do some scoring, one score anyway, and it's on the blue 7.5 by 10.5 inch paper. You're going to score on one long side in 1 inch. So if you have a scoreboard or a score pal, great. If you don't, then we're going to use a trimmer. And if you haven't used a trimmer to score before, this is how it works. You will slide your paper in so that you're going to be scoring the long side, one long side, either one, it doesn't matter. And pull it in about an inch. And then using a bone folder or credit card, room key, something that you can, it will get down into that little groove of your cutter, of your trimmer. But keep in mind, you just want to do a medium score. Don't press so hard that you tear the paper. Some bone folders have a sharp point, and they will be more wicked than those that have round points. So just a little bit of a score line and an inch. Take it out and fold it along that scar line. Okay, so it should look like this. So now you're going to add adhesive on that 1 inch part above the score line on the side that has the compasses. You lay it so that that fold is right, center it left to right, and the fold is right along, flush with the top edge of your background paper, and fold that 1 inch flap around to the back, okay, around to the back. And go ahead and adhere it down, and that leaves your flap open, okay? So when you put this into your page protector like this will stay on the outside. Okay, now we have this piece. It's got the compass in the bottom left-hand corner, big compass. This one has a score line. It was a die cut, so we were able to put the score line on that for you. It has square edges at the top, and the score line is about an inch down from the top. Has rounded corners on the bottom. So locate this paper. It's tan check on one side. It's probably about 7 inches wide by 10 inches long. And right about an inch down from the top, which we will call the top with the square corners, there is a score line. So fold along that score line, okay? Fold along that score line, and again, you're going to add adhesive on that score line, or on that 1 inch piece above the score line. And then that also centers left to right and folds around to the back of your background page. So now you have 2 flaps, okay? 2 places to add more pictures. So the next piece that you need looks like this. It's your checked piece, tan checks, rounded corners at the bottom, 4 1/4 by 7, square corners at the top, and again about an inch down there is a score line, and it appears that the score line is actually been cut on the other side. Doesn't really matter, it's on there, so go ahead and fold. If you just kind of start folding, it generally appears, especially if you're folding from the other side. Okay, so this piece, now this would be fun to add a little bit of the Rocky Road ink or some amaretto, okay, because it's got those tan checks in the background. And add as much or as little as you want. I like to put a little more in the corners sometimes. Okay, and then a little adhesive on this. And it goes in probably about 3/4 of an inch from the right hand side of that top flap, which is the flap with your compass on it. Should look about like this. So there you go, another flap. Now we have 3 flaps. And let's go ahead and put this piece on while we are at it. It's a 5 by 10.5, and the reason why I didn't put it on earlier because I didn't want it to get tucked up underneath here. I wanted it to have space here at the bottom. Now the one in the picture you'll see has rounded corners. If you have a corner rounder and you want to round the corners on this piece, all 4 corners, and even the corners on your blue paper, none of those were through the laser machine, so if you want to round corners you can. If you don't want to, it looks fine without rounding the corners. So go ahead and add some color to this 5 by 10.5 piece with the skinny stripes on the front, yellow on the back. And if you want to use the yellow side, you can. All of this paper is double-sided, so you can use either side that you would like. Go ahead and adhere that down right here. And I'm going to just put a little bit of center left to right, and just make sure it's not tucked up underneath, because here's another spot for little frames and photos. Okay, let's set this aside for just a second, and let's make this little book. So if you will notice, it's hard to tell sometimes which side the score lines are actually on. They are showing up on this busy pattern of compasses, and you will have I believe 11 score lines. So you have 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1 down here. Don't forget this little flap down here, 7, and then each section has 2. This has a double score line. There's 1, there's 8, 9, and 10, and 11. Okay? Let's see if I have a better picture of that. No, not really. And anyway, I can draw some. Score lines are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1. Don't forget this one down here, 7, and a double one, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So go ahead and fold those all the same way for the moment. And I think if you're finding that the score lines are on this side, it's easier to fold them so blue meets blue to start with. And then we'll go back and refold, okay? So 11 score lines. Make sure you have, and these right here that are double, what that does is just give you a little more space when you add pictures, when your book gets thicker because of the pictures and photo mats, then you have space for it to fold together, okay? So go ahead and get those score lines all limbered up. Now the first thing that you will do is we are going to make a pocket, and you have the little flaps at the top, okay? Little flaps at the top, bigger flaps at the bottom. And then the one at the center of the bottom has a score line. So what you're going to do is fold this up like this, and you're going to add some adhesive to the back of that top of that flap and fold it down, okay? Making a pocket. So now we're going to add adhesive to the right and the left, fold this up, and you have a perfect little pocket, okay? There's your pocket there, there's your flap. And this has a little cute little quote that goes inside of it that says, any dream worth dreaming is worth the effort to make it come true. And you can cut that out and tuck it inside, or you can tuck some photos in there if you want to. Let's see what this looks like. Here's the finished one, and you have all these little lots of little frames that will go inside, okay? And now, in order to get it onto this flap, you have a green ribbon that looks like this. This will fold, this will fold up. Okay, and more space for pictures. This will fold down. It would be nice to use a bone folder on these folds. It'll help them to lay down a little bit better. And then you fold the right in and the left over, and you have your little book. So in order to get it onto your page, we will add, okay, so here we have right in, left in, and you turn it over to the back, and just a little spot of adhesive, and find the center of your green checked ribbon, your green gingham ribbon. Stick it right into that adhesive, okay? And then you're going to add adhesive all the way around on the back side. Now keep in mind that we are at the back side of the book. And we have our ribbon on the back side of the book. And now we will turn it back over and make sure that the adhesive, everything is squared up, so you have centered left to right, pretty much top to bottom. And that will hold your ribbon in place. And then you just tie a little bow here and it will hold your book closed. So a couple more things to finish out this book, and that is you have a couple of little tiny squares that look like this. They are just tiny. And the reason they are tiny like that instead of one big strip that goes across the front, as you can see here, it looks like on the finished one that the strip goes all the way across. Well, I ran out of paper, so all I had left was these. So, you know, it's scrapbooking, so we can fake it if we want, and that's what we're going to do. So if you want to chalk this up a little bit, it would be kind of fun to try at one of the greens, or I'm going to try this mint chip. That's pretty. Yeah, that looks good. So just chalk up the edges just a little bit. And then we're going to make a fakeroo little strip going across there. So when you look at it, people will think that it's actually one big strip. And so a little bit of adhesive on the back side of each one. Goes here. Another one right across from it, right up to the edge. And then you have this pretty little quote that you will cut out, and it goes on here, and then it covers up those edges and it makes it look like one piece. And then you have a couple of big frames. One goes here, picture behind. It's kind of hard to cover up that compass with a picture, but you know, that's the purpose. So, and one goes here, and one goes here. And that's it. That's all we're going to do on this one. And so you have lots of little pieces. Let's look at the pages 3, 4, 5, and 6 right quick. This eliminates tons of pieces though, so it'll make the rest of your project go lots easier. Keep in mind that you do have some cutting diagrams. You need to hang on to those so that you can finish everything out. But there are so many less pieces now that it should make things easier. So keep your instructions, your cutting diagrams. This is page 3. It says, "Blessed are the curious, for they shall have adventures." And down here it says, "Always believe that something wonderful is about to happen." These are super simple. You have those in your paper embellishments. And simple 5 and 6 page for the very end. So that does it, and that's all for that class. And I thank you for joining us, and I hope you had fun. And there's lots of little pieces to put together, but enjoy your This is great for adventures, all the adventures we're not having right now. So save it for when you do have a great adventure, and we will see you at the next class. Thank you.